Hello, and welcome to another scene set in Odessa, the Dark Crusade, Season 2. Tonight, it's night of the new moon. It's very dark outside. The streets do not even have the rays of the moon to shine upon them, only the torches they have manifested for themselves. And even they are a little dimmer than usual in the domains of the Setites, the slums, the realms of decay, and corruption of all sorts. This scene takes place with Ghufran seeking out his sire among the serpents to his haven, who has so graciously made public information to Ghufran. Not something that's all that common, especially since serpents tend to live in their temples often. What's Ghufran doing as he walks to his sire's
Ghufran,
haven?
in the dead of night, in its silence, whilst under the covers of darkness and the veil of obfuscate, does not take a direct approach to his sire's haven. He knows that it is rare for a Setite to have. Well, it's not exactly rare for a Setite to have private havens, but nobody wants the location of their haven known. And you don't want to be that person that figures out, oh shit, I've been followed. So Ghufran is doing a few things to make sure that if there's someone else following him, they've lost track.
Takes you longer than usual, but you make it.
Yep. And so once he arrives, he knocks.
Takes about a full minute. And then the door will open. The figure of your sire is somewhat hidden behind the door as he kind of opens it and then steps back as he opens it for you, so his form isn't really fully revealed until you walk inside.
He'll immediately walk in as soon as the door opens.
Door shuts. I take it you weren't followed?
No. I took every precaution.
Good. As you walk in, the interior of this place is basically that of a common house. There are no distinguishing features from it at all. It looks, from the outset, from both the inside and outside, to be completely ordinary. It is not an abandoned shack. It is not some sort of over-the-top gesture. If you were a regular person, you'd literally think of this as some filthy peasant's shack. I apologize. I can't do much to accommodate you here, but I'm sure it will be enough for the moment.
We don't need much luxury. I roll around in it.
You and your carpets.
And pillows. Did you know I sold some sheets recently? I might add those to the inventory list.
Hmm. The common folk always need cheaper means of procuring themselves some good night's sleep.
Exactly. And hey, if we ever do need money, I have it, at least.
Good to hear.
Now, how's your settlement been so far?
Smooth. I have gone largely unnoticed. I have been making arrangements with the local populace.
You've most likely already heard how my settlement has been going. I've been trying to take more attention upon myself to let you do your work undisturbed.
Your settlement has been quite action-packed, from what I hear.
Yes. Dealing with these domain breaches. They're an interesting event. Something that blends with their surroundings in a way that obfuscation doesn't.
Hmm. Sounds like something we might be able to look into given the opportunity.
It was physically strong. If it could be bound to our will, I think it would make a very good tool.
Do you know where it is?
No, it flew away.
Flew away.
Yes, it flew away.
Well, that is an interesting trick. Alas, I suppose we should not push our luck too hard if it's under the spotlight.
No, we already have our own things. Speaking of them, the mother has arrived here.
Yes, it would appear so, although she has not deigned to grace us with her presence as of yet.
I suppose that is fortunate for now.
From what I hear, her side is largely her own.
Good. She can take up all the attention. Will only work the better for us.
Speaking of her matter, though, I would keep an eye out for a veiled woman on the street.
There are many, according to the tenets of the Islam.
She, however, is scorched black, largely like an old Assamite would be.
This is true.
She is the sort that likes to cover up but leave a small hint. Something like a game to her, I think.
Does she know there are others of her kind here?
I don't know, but if she's here, then it is more than likely that she expects us to be here as well.
Fantastic. Well, at least for now, it has nothing to do with us. Hello, Chris? You here? My internet works. Oh, his cut out. Oof. And so, the waiting game starts. I hope not too long. Currently 12:30. Kind of late.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Things happen. Sorry, where did I get to? She expects us to be here as well.
Yep. She has contacted us, and then I replied, which is only better for us.
The sites that dot this region are of great archaeological importance. It wouldn't surprise me if she had taken an interest in them.
There is a member amongst the Setites that is interested as well in archaeological digs. Should I approach him to take me on one of his expeditions? It might help us, and we could even find some artifacts.
I believe it would be worth the effort, if only to deny resources to a common enemy. It can sometimes be a bit... well, it can be deceptively difficult sometimes to tell a temple of one faith from another, often because they're deliberately designed so.
Well, I do like a bit of grave robbing. More riches for me.
There is always more to gain.
There is. However, where do we start? We are now here. What is the Coven's next move?
Firstly, if I may ask, have you made contact with anyone who might be of potential to us? As a pawn or as a convert?
There is a young one amongst the La Sombra clan. Her name is Irene. Very young, fledgling.
Oh yes, I heard about this one, the little child, the one that showed the Tismisi up at an Elysium.
Yes, she caught my eye, but She sometimes disappears, which is worrying. But her wit is sharp. Since she's a fledgling, she still makes mistakes. There are people trying to get to her by those mistakes. The problem is her sire, Celine. From what I've heard of her, she is very sharp. And she is not one to be underestimated. She and the High Priest apparently had a very engaging night. So there could be a way for us to get both.
Ahanith ain't the high priest, by the way.
Oh,
Ahanith, the party hostess, who's awesome. Anyway.
the host, the host. La 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 la.
Interesting. That means she can be tempted, if nothing else. If we utilize our aliases, we may be able to hold her under. Although it's an alternative is to simply build her up and wait until she is released from her sire.
Mm-hmm.
And then perhaps dig a little deeper when her hold is less over her when she is a neonate. The longer route, but perhaps a safer one.
She is currently at her most vulnerable. She's the easiest and perhaps the most difficult target at current time.
Perhaps
Yes.
then we can utilize her short disappearances to our advantage.
Yes, I agree. What about you? Have you seen anyone fruitful?
Several in this city. Although I have learned more about who to avoid that. The Assamite Paladin and his child are quite observant.
As expected.
The Salubri are loud as always.
I do enjoy seeing them cast as low, honestly.
It is an
They're on their
interesting
knees.
turnaround.
They're on their knees where they belong.
It is, I must admit, enjoyable watching their backs slowly break.
The Tremere are doing an excellent job.
Although I do worry that we are simply trading one enemy for another.
We will deal with that when the time comes.
There. The Permagen's second in command appears very much aggressive towards accusations that often flood her clan, that are often more aptly directed towards us. Might be worth keeping an eye on her. I'd not take any action at all if she were in a room with you. She appears to have a razor eye for this sort of thing.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Including that old Baron, or Baron.
Ulrich.
He appears to have come here solely for the purpose of slaying as many of us as possible.
Well, he can most certainly try.
What concerns me is what he knows. If he could survive a fight with Mary, then you can imagine what he can do to us.
And he just needs to not find us.
But I fear he can read between the more lines more readily than some of the other lookouts in the city.
Of that I have no doubt. But so far I've been able to lead him by the nose. And
Good.
as long as I play my part, I'll be able to do so with everybody.
I am slowly gathering up the resources to enact in a few investments of my own. I've ensured that the Seti presence in this domain will cover for it nicely.
Very good.
We don't need to expand too quickly, though.
No. A rushed job. It's not one that is well done.
I will
However,
Oh, sorry.
that does bring me back to my question. Where are we going?
In somewhat disregard for my caution, it is perhaps still time that we began investing in the city proper. I'm aware that you have invested yourself commercially into this city. I'll be gathering up the people. If there are mortals you think who can bring under sway, either via the full truth or not, have you told them you're a snake or a devil?
So far, I am just somebody no one trusts because I'm a Setite. And Setites should not be trusted.
Oh no.
No, I do not plan on revealing myself to anybody, be they mortal or immortal.
Perhaps, however, we could begin rounding up a few mortals. Some of your customers, perhaps.
I do have some in some higher circles. We do need to be careful.
I would not risk going higher than the merchant class when you start running into a lot of familiar faces, many of which are quite powerful and have not survived for long without a good reason.
I do agree, especially since Ulrich seems to be very invested in the higher class. Merchant class and below. I will see to it. It might be wise to get the Setites to start another cult. See if you, since you plan on gathering the people, why don't you see if you can get the Setites to start another cult with you running it, and then
You can
run
skim
a,
off it.
yeah, run a circle of trust inside of it. That can be your well.
Indeed. We will need the fuel in the nights to come. Speaking of fuel, actually, you said you were going on archaeological dig. I mentioned several sites of importance. We don't know where all of them are. However, there is, as you say, artifacts, stone tablets. A great deal of our history is written on them, and as such contain a great deal of knowledge.
Should they be destroyed or retrieved?
I'm aware at least the one is possessed by a toreador of all people right now.
Oh no.
And I'm aware that the prince is also in possession of one. The Cappadocians seem eager to dissect and translate. So far they've been unsuccessful, fortunately. The others, however, are untouched, as far as history does not touch things.
I very much doubt the Toreador will do much translation. They only care for how pretty it looks or its archaeological value. The Cappadocians, however,
Eventually they will crack it open, and then they'll realize the significance of what is here, and that we might be here as well.
well,
they will start looking.
they already know since, well, Mary has drawn much attention to herself.
But they still need to connect the tablet to her or us.
What are we going to do about this? The prince is too powerful for me to take on, for both of us to take on.
No, and I will still need to discover where he is keeping it. I've only been able to overhear conversations, largely between that Lady Astor. She is loose with her tongue, a gun is her power, but she is lax, to say the least. The Toreador would be an easier target. He is a neonate.
What's his name?
Adam Carter. He is a priest.
He possesses something of us. How ironic.
I would consider it almost too ironic, almost insultingly so. The others, I can only presume, lie in several of these religious sites across the region. Some of them, well, the Setites had their own sites on them. Some of them were sealed. It was an attempt to drive us out.
What language have they been written in? Do you know this?
I'll have them make a roll.
Which dice roll are we using, by the way?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. We'll just use, I think... Nope, I don't want to make that one. We'll use 3. Okay. This is actually probably one of his best stats. Oh, he scores like 5 successes. I can only imagine, considering the region, these tablets, well, they are written on stone. They date back far. Most likely Babylonian, Assyrian. But it could potentially be even older.
And it's going to get even more difficult if they're written in a combination of scripts. It's not uncommon for us to do that.
Unfortunately, we don't exactly have an offer either.
No.
If we're to ever discover who even wrote these scripts, we'd need to translate them first. The only information we have to run by is that one of our own wrote them. But you will be aware when you are near one. It was written by one of our blood. There are guiding signs. And certain measures in place to ensure other clans do not acquire them. How this neonate managed to get one is beyond me. Perhaps the grace of God works with him still. Something I will take most pleasure in stripping away.
Are you going to handle the neonate then?
I'll keep my eye on the prince and inform you of any others that come by. I will trust you to acquire this tablet from him. But,
Very well.
It is possible that others have acquired them as well, especially with Tomb Raiders amidst the Setites.
Yes, well, that is another reason why I want to go with him.
It would not surprise me if they have already acquired several, and it is perhaps more dangerous that they have them than any other clan, because it's in their temple. They would be able to make the connection quick at the most as to why they were sealed away.
Leave it to the religious to discover something religious.
Are of a crude sort of piety. Still, I'll take it over the spawn of Abraham.
Isn't that one of the salubri here?
That one is useless, impotent. He barely ever leaves his chapel. The only danger he would possess to you is if he discovered you, and then he would put all his time and energy into converting you back to the right path. Ugh. I'm more disgusted by his weakness than his piety.
Well, if he's only in his chapel, he is no problem for us. Our biggest troubles right now are the tablets. Those are the highest priorities. I'll go after Adam Carter, see what he knows. and I'll talk to the one among us that does the expeditions. In the meantime, I'll try and secure another ghoul.
I will begin organizing a gathering for you to take advantage of, make friends with.
Share some fine wine.
Only the finest. I'll also keep in touch with the operations of the snakes. I'll see what I can remove from Ahani's tongue, among other places.
She plays, but I think she's... The Setites have been amongst our old enemies. And because they are distrusted, they know when they are deceived. And yet, we're still amongst them. But I wouldn't underestimate them even for a second.
Oh no, they're quite adept at reading between the lines. It's no wonder they view the Assamites as the greatest threat. They're both alike in all the wrong ways, and none of them will ever admit it. But it is amusing to watch them dispute the fact.
If only they would...
Sorry.
If only they would kill each other.
Given enough provocation, unfortunately the Assamites are wrapped up in killing the Tremere, but I'm more than happy to allow them to do that. Perhaps you could find something scandalous about either side that would perhaps push them in a more violent direction. I'll see what I can turn up for you.
Very well. For now, I'll continue on the road that I have set myself on.
One last thing.
Yes?
I sense some contention between some of the neonates in this city and their elders. Perhaps you could pull on that, how you will.
Oh, which ones?
1 second, I actually got out the bloody list. Because the list is long. An Ansela named Gwyn. You might know of him. He is a mentor of sin.
And he's also another Toreador, correct?
Oh, he is of a Toreador as well, yes. He is the blood brother to Beatrice, who is not so in line with our ideologies. But he has been in many ways pushed out of clan's affairs for his dissidence. Much like Frederick, who is simply a pawn to them in a very overt fashion. You might also find a pawn, though not an ally, in Andrew Aventure. He is a knight of sorts, but he is in contention with a lot of his clan and the dominant faith of his city. Play to his frustrations and he'll dance for you. Anything to get him closer to his beloved Christ.
Sure. I'll get him extremely close. Well,
The only the only other thing I perhaps warn you about is a particular Assamite. His name is Jibril, an neonate like yourself, but he concerns me. He is an observer. He just watches people, often with dark intent. He appears more driven than the rest of his clan. And on top of that, seems to have held his cards very close to his chest.
A wild card.
He has a habit of following people around.
I'll be sure to stay hidden a little more.
Indeed. Other than that, however, I believe we'll have a rundown on the local wildlife.
Yeah. I'll first go to... Yeah.
You have so many new friends to make.
I'll first go to Hakib.
I'm aware he is going to be performing a little excursion of his soon. You might want to hurry or you might miss out.
No, we wouldn't want that. I'll first go to Hakib, then to Adam. See what I can learn just simply by talking to him.
This.
Actually, I might actually go see Hakib tonight. Is that the first thing?
Better not to dilly-dally. Haste does not always make waste.
Well, you're right in that one.
Donations to my little social group, by the way, are much appreciated.
Donations to your social group?
Any of your customers or party goers. I know you tend to get around, as they say.
Very well. I will send them an address. But only to my regular goers. Random customers are too dangerous.
Oh, yes. I trust you to exercise the appropriate caution.
Well then. We both have our course of action. And it's time to fulfill
Indeed. And
our own will.
And once the first steps have been taken, things will begin to intensify. I have a few things in mind. And that's going to require a fuel source.
We'll have it eventually. For now, I will take my leave.
Good evening and good work.
Same to you, and may the darkness lights shine upon your path.
Don't patronize me.
But I love patronizing people.
This is true.
Safety is something I do wish you.
To you as well.
And Ghufran will walk out of the building And when he opens the door and closes the door behind him, he'll immediately obfuscate again.
Yeah. It's fine. The slums are kinda abandoned. Well, not abandoned fully at night, but
Hey man,
it's a rough neighborhood.
caution.
Mm. So it's not like anyone's looking at you or anything. You're able to sneak off. Yeah. You see the curtain close. Your sire gives you a devious smile as you walk off into the night. And I think we can call a scene.